When it comes to the meaning or the types, as I said before, right? So the types could be addition, contrast, and reason. And that's also the meaning of these cohesive devices. Okay? So when we see something, for example, what's the meaning? Example. So every time we use, for example, what we need after, an example. In addition, you're adding something. However, what do? You are contrasting something. All right? So these kind of things, basically noticing what the main use of these cohesive devices are. Oh, hi, Mesfer, how are you? If you have any questions about IELTS writing, just pop the questions. Guys, if you have questions, just pop the questions, okay? And I'll probably answer them later, all right, towards the end. But if you have any questions, just go for it and pop them, okay? So today we're talking about linking words, okay, for the writing part of the IELTS exam, okay? So you can get a 7+, okay, cool. So as I was saying before, right, so when it comes to the meaning of these words, however means contrast, in addition means addition, also means addition. When it comes to the meaning, I think most people, they're pretty good at that. They can see the word and they know what the word means. However, a lot of people are not very good at using these words, okay? So I get a lot of students saying, oh, I know this word, I know this word. And I'm like, why are you not using it? It's like, oh, that is true. Why am I not using it? Okay, so today I'm going to tell you the best way to look at these words so you can start using them more often. Okay, so when it comes to a little bit about the meaning again, all right, so a lot of people say, but Fabi, there's like this gigantic list. How do I choose? And I say, well, you choose based on the task, okay? So let's just think about, hi, you're very welcome. I'll say you're very welcome. All right, so when it comes to the, let's think about a task. Let's think about a task concerning advantages and disadvantages of something. All right. When you think about this, what do you need to do? Maybe between the body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. You probably need to contrast your ideas, because if you're talking about advantages, that's something positive. Then you're going to talk about disadvantages. That's something negative, right? So how are you going to connect these two paragraphs? With cohesive devices. And which one you're probably going to need? Contrast, okay? So if your one paragraph is talking about something that is positive and the next one talking about something that is negative, what are you going to do? Use one concerning contrast, because that's the connection you're trying to make between those two paragraphs, okay? But then, if we think about the paragraph itself, all right, just think about the paragraph. You propose an idea, one advantage of something. Then you're probably going to explain that idea. You can use a cohesive device that talks about explaining things, okay? And then maybe you're gonna give a reason for your explanation. Then you can use a cohesive device that talks about explaining something. And then one thing that is very good to do is add an example. And then you can use a cohesive devices to introduce your example. Okay, so just think about it. So you introduce the idea, right? And then you explain, cohesive device to explain. And then maybe you talk about a reason for that. Cohesive devices for reason. And then you give an example. Cohesive devices for examples. Can you see? So you already have 4 there. And then, of course, when you move on to the next paragraph, if it's something like advantages, you can stick a however or on the other hand, and you can start your new paragraph, okay? So it's not that hard to use it, okay? But we have to be quite aware of what we need and when we need them, okay? So we talked about the types, okay? We also talked about choosing them, okay? Now, the next thing that a lot of people overlook, and when I'm helping students, that's the first thing we talk about, okay? It's basically thinking about the difference between sentences and clauses. Maybe I'm getting really into grammar here, okay? Maybe some people don't know the difference. So basically, a sentence is is capital, oh my God, capital word, okay, capital letter, full stop. That's a sentence, all right? Usually subject verb, that's a sentence. Whereas a clause is a part of a sentence, all right? So a clause is a part of a sentence, usually with subject verb, okay? So we have two types of things when it comes to the grammar, and also knowing the difference between sentences and clauses, okay, will help you use the cohesive devices, the linking words, the connectors, the conjunctions much, much better. All right. If you're watching this and you have any questions, pop a question, okay, and I can tell you all about it. All right, if you can't quite understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, but basically now sentences and clauses, okay? Because what happens is some cohesive devices, they will be connecting sentences. All right, so you want them to use them to connect only sentences. And other cohesive devices, they will be connecting clauses. All right. So let's say you say something, you have a full stop, and you want to continue saying something else that is connected to what you said before in the previous sentence. So you need to choose a cohesive device that will connect sentences. But sometimes we have two different ideas in one sentence, right? So if we have everything in one sentence, then we will be connecting clauses, right? So there will be two connections in one sentence. So we need to use cohesive devices that will help you connect clauses, not sentences. For example, however, 99% of the time you're going to use however in the beginning of the sentence. Why? Because however will connect sentences, not clauses. Even though. But Fabi, I saw even though in the beginning of the sentence. Yes, you can say in the beginning of the sentence. However, even though is connecting two ideas in the same sentence. All right, so please pay extra attention to that, okay? So let's recap a little bit. So we talked about why linking words, cohesive devices are important, okay? Then we talked about the different types, okay? Then we talked about choosing the best one to use in your writing. And now we started to talk about the different types, okay? Some will connect sentences and others will connect clauses, okay? And then we come down to something that a lot of people struggle with, which is the grammar of the linking words, all right? So if you have been studying the IELTS for a while, you probably noticed that every time you have a linking word, you have something after, right? But what you have after changes depending on the linking word, okay? So for example, you have a however. You need a comma. If you start a sentence with however, you need a comma. And what do you need after that? You need subject verb. All right, so you have however, comma, subject verb. All right, cool, okay. And then what if you have something like in spite of? In spite of has the same meaning as however. But what do I need after in spite of? Does it go in the beginning? Yes, it can go in the beginning, but actually it will connect clauses, not sentences. And then can I use subject verb? No, you can't. Okay, so after in spite of and after despite, you need to use a noun or verb ing. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get you guys to think about now. Okay, so maybe if you can, get any of your writings, get something, have a look and find a linking word and check what is the grammar after it. Okay, so you'll be surprised at how different they can be. Okay, because again, as I mentioned before, okay, some of these words, they are similar but different at the same time. Okay, so probably when after you just started studying English, you know, you're like maybe in basic level, in pre-intermediate level, you saw the word however and asked your teacher, what's however? And the teacher said, it's the same as but. And you're like, all right, that makes sense. And then you read the sentence, you, instead of saying however, you say but. Cool, that makes sense. But then you're just thinking about the meaning. But can you put but every time so you don't want to use however? Can you replace with but? Not all the time. Okay, so one thing that can be tricky for a lot of people is the fact that these linking words, okay, sometimes they have the same meaning, but they have different grammar and they have different positions in the sentence. All right, so that's another thing that we have to think about. Okay, so we think about the meaning of the linking words, then we move on and we think about the position where they go, and we have to think about the grammar. Okay, guys, we definitely have to think about the grammar. Okay, because that's where we make mistakes. Okay, so at least from my experience, okay, I've helped a lot of people, and sometimes they will use the cohesive devices, but then they will use it in the wrong place, position, okay, and then sometimes it will be in the right place. The meaning is okay, that's what they're trying to say, but what they write after the linking word is wrong because they didn't think about the grammar that they need. All right, so yeah, that's like a huge gigantic overview for the linking words. Okay, guys.